The final chapter in the saga of the Long Island Lolita. As Amy Fisher begins her 15-year prison term, an exclusive interview. I'm Nancy Glass. Welcome to Inside Edition Weekend.
He told me when to do it. He told me how to do it.
It was the day of reckoning for the Long Island Lolita, Amy Fisher.
I don't want to be the Amy Fisher that stands here today. I want to be the Amy Fisher that I was before I met Joe Buttafuoco.
The teenager, so obsessed with an older man she tried to kill his wife, faced her victim.
All this damage by someone who still shows absolutely no remorse for her actions.
And her judge.
You are a walking stick of dynamite with the fuse lit.
Now, as Amy Fisher begins her sentence, an Inside Edition exclusive. We have the story the courts never heard, a story in Amy's own words of sex, violence, and betrayal.
He wanted his wife dead, and he tried to get me to carry that out for him.
Amy Fisher is a liar and has zero credibility.
She's a sick chick.
2, 1.
Last May, Amy Fisher, obsessed with a man twice her age, went to his wife's home and shot her in the head. Since then, this story of the lethal Lolita has transfixed America. There have been countless newspaper and magazine articles. A book is already out, and 3 TV movies are in production. Amy Fisher was sentenced to 5 to 15 years this week. Before she went to prison, she gave Inside Edition her only interview. She told me a riveting, shocking, tragic story, and we'll have that for you in a moment.
And he said, "Baby, you're strong, you can do this," and he just looked at me.
Baby, you're strong, you can do what?
Shoot her.
It seems like a lot of things are harder for some people than others. That's why at University Square, we make shopping easy. University Square, 20 stores make shopping easy. It seems like a lot of things are harder for some people than others. That's why at University Square, we make shopping easy. University Square, 20 stores make shopping easy.
Kids everywhere love brown box toys. Boys and girls have a houseload of happy times playing house with Holly's house. And the day can be chock full of fun when you fly into the wild blue yonder with Charlie's chopper. Or you could be captain of your own ship and sail the ocean blue in Mariner Matt's boat. Be king of the highway when you roll on down the road in Vicky's van. Or you can blast off for an alien galaxy of good times when you take the controls of astronaut Arnold's space shuttle. Play in them, nap in them, color or decorate them. All brown box toys are made from sturdy, recyclable, corrugated cardboard, complete with easy-to-understand instructions. No tools are required for assembly. Kids love these brown box toys, so don't delay. Call today. To order using your MasterCard or Visa credit card, pick up your phone right now. Call toll-free, 1-800-622-6080. That's 1-800-622-6080.
There are countries where bread is scarce, but this is America. Countries where electricity is rare, but this is America. Countries where infant mortality is a problem, but this is America. Here, it's a crisis. Every 13 minutes, another infant dies. But we can help prevent many of those deaths with prenatal care from programs like Healthy Start. Find out what you can do. Why? Because this is America.
Mary Jo Buttafuoco met Amy Fisher 3 times. The first time, the obsessed teenager was checking out her older rival. The second time, she shot Mary Jo in the head. The third time came in court this week, and it was a dramatic confrontation.
My two beautiful children are having a difficult time leaving me alone. They are afraid I might not be there when they get home from school. They have been severely traumatized by this event, and this, to me, is the greatest tragedy of all. All this damage by someone who still shows absolutely no remorse for her actions.
The final chapter in the saga of the Long Island Lolita, Amy Fisher coming face to face with her victim.
Sometimes I think this is a nightmare and it didn't happen, and then I realize that it did.
It was the first time Amy Fisher had seen Mary Jo Buttafuoco since May 19, 1992, the day she sauntered up to the Long Island housewife's home and put a bullet in her head. This time, the two met in a court to hear a judge sentence Amy Fisher to 5 to 15 years in prison.
For many months, you had stalked Mary Jo Buttafuoco like a wild animal stalks its prey. Motivated by lust and passion, you were a walking stick of dynamite with the fuse lit.
The seductive teenager says she had a steamy romance with Mary Jo Buttafuoco's husband, Joey, a man old enough to be her father. He was the 36-year-old owner of the local auto body shop. She was a 16-year-old high school student when she says the affair began. And in our exclusive interview, Amy Fisher claimed that Joe Buttafuoco turned her into a prostitute and convinced her to shoot his wife.
I had an affair with Joe Buttafuoco for 10 months. He wanted his wife dead, and he tried to get me to carry that out for him.
Joey told you to kill his wife?
Yes, he told me when to do it. He told me how to do it. He told me just go up to the door, point a gun like this, and keep firing and walk away.
Look into her eyes and decide for yourself. Is she a little girl lost or a hateful creature who was willing to kill to get what she wanted? Why did he tell you to kill her?
Because he didn't want to be with her anymore, and he said we were going to be together, and I listened to him.
Didn't anything inside you say, this is wrong?
Yes.
Then why didn't you stop? Why did you go to the house?
I felt like I couldn't let Joey down. He was very excited about the idea. I remember once he grabbed my head and he said, "Baby, you're strong, you can do this," and he just looked at me.
Baby, you're strong, you can do what?
Shoot her.
This pretty, petite high school senior says she got the gun from a friend and encouragement from Joey. Amy Fisher stuck to her story.
These things, Your Honor, they are all true. They are facts. And I cannot and will not take them back for the sake of harmony.
Mary Jo spoke of her own truths and railed against the girl who permanently disfigured her.
The bullet is still lodged in the base of my brain and causes me constant pain and suffering. The future holds numerous operations, and if there is any unnatural movement of the bullet, I am faced with paralysis and perhaps even death.
She defends her husband of 20 years, the father of her two young children. Police say Joey Buttafuoco initially admitted to having an affair with Amy Fisher. At a news conference, he claimed he never had sex with the teenager.
Amy Fisher is a liar and has zero credibility. She knows that. I know she's a liar. I know she has no credibility.
Joey was not in court. Once again, Mary Jo faced Amy Fisher alone. She read a letter written by her daughter, Jessica.
Thank you for putting Amy Fisher in jail. She has done so many bad things to my family and I. Please make Amy Fisher stay in jail for a very long time so she can't hurt my mom again. My daddy, brother, Paul, and I love her very much.
The judge showed no sympathy for Amy.
You are a tragedy and disgrace to yourself, to your family, to your friends, and to society. And you deserve no less than the maximum sentence I can impose by law.
Amy said she was sorry.
If I could change everything, I would. If I could put my hand over her face and make it go away, I would.
Amy expressed that sentiment once before. In our interview, she said she regretted everything she has done since the day she met Joe Buttafuoco.
When did you come to your senses? After I was sitting in a jail cell for a few weeks, realizing that this is my life. This is what my life has resorted to.
I don't know if it's genetic. I don't know if it was environmental, but she's a sick chick.
Some say Amy Fisher is a spoiled, temperamental teenager with a twisted set of values. She would like you to believe she is a vulnerable young girl led astray by a Svengali-like character, Joe Buttafuoco.
Amy Fisher, in my view, is a girl who was used, misused, abused, misdirected, and controlled by a man 20 years her senior.
Amy's lawyer offers these motel receipts as proof of the affair.
She was over the age of consent with the dates on those receipts. Let's start with that one. Now,
but Mr.
let's
Kornberg,
wait.
Let's get back to what you said, that they never had sex. Now you're saying that they did have sex.
No, I'm not. No. I never said that. I said assuming that's his signature on there, which we do not concede it is, but assuming it's his signature.
But the FBI verified that it's his handwriting.
We've all had cases where some experts say that this is somebody's handwriting, another person says it's not that person's handwriting.
Amy goes even further. She claims things got a little kinky and a little violent.
He would insist that I wore things like thumb-back underwear, and if I didn't when I was with him, he wouldn't be romantic with me. It was sort of like a punishment.
He didn't want to have sex with you because you weren't wearing
fancy underwear.
Didn't you ever say to yourself, this is cheap? I'm in a motel with a married man?
I never looked at it that way. I just looked at it as I was with Joey.
She claims Joey waved a gun at her, but still she didn't have a change of heart.
He would point it at me and he would laugh.
Why should we believe this?
Because it's the truth.
A lot of people listen to Amy Fisher and believe she had an affair with Joe Buttafuoco.
He had no sexual affair with Amy Fisher.
Mr. Kornberg, is Joe Buttafuoco the luckiest man on Long Island?
No, I think he's one of the unluckiest men in Long Island. Some sick, mentally deranged young lady put a bullet in his wife's head because she had an attraction to him.
Have you thought about how many people's lives have been hurt or destroyed by this?
Her entire family, my entire family, has been absolutely destroyed.
Do you deserve to be punished for what you did?
Absolutely. I didn't mean to do it, but I still did it. And I know I have to be punished, but I don't deserve a sentence of 5 to 15 years. I'm 18 years old. To me, it's a lifetime when you're young.
But Mary Jo Buttafuoco has a life sentence of pain and suffering.
Yes. But Joey Buttafuoco isn't suffering, and he's the cause of all of her problems, and most of mine.
While Amy and her lawyer are still furious that Joe Buttafuoco was never charged with any crime, the prosecutor says he is leaving Joey alone.
Amy Fisher is not believable, and we don't prosecute people because they're called lowlifes.
Even before formal sentencing, Amy had already chosen to return to jail to escape the media circus that drove her to 2 suicide attempts. When we spoke a few weeks ago, she described her first experience in jail while awaiting bail.
When I was in jail, at night I couldn't sleep because the lights are on all night, and you hear the water dripping through the metal walls, and people banging and screaming, and it sounds like chains beating against the walls.
And Amy Fisher knows she will always have to live with the stigma of being the Long Island Lolita.
I don't want to be the Amy Fisher that stands here today. I want to be the Amy Fisher that I was before I met Joe Buttafuoco in November of 1990.
The shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuoco was only the beginning of an unfolding saga. There was a secret videotape, 2 attempted suicides, and a disastrous relationship with another older man. Amy Fisher's exclusive story continues when we come back.
I was talking with a boyfriend whom I thought I could trust, and I thought he really genuinely cared about me. But obviously I have very poor judgment when it comes to men.
What's the best way to maintain your Nissan's prime performance and keep it running like new? Practice preventative maintenance. Our factory-trained technicians here at JC Billion will carefully inspect your car and prevent problems before they happen.
Be prepared for a harsh Bozeman winter and don't get stuck in the cold. Bring your Nissan to J.C. Billion to ensure your safety and peace of mind. And while you're waiting, take a test drive in the brand new Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car.
Mince fresh herbs and spices. Slice or dice celery, onions, garlic, chop nuts, and make homemade pasta too. Introducing Roll-O-Magic, the hand-controlled food processor that works like a power mower as it minces fresh parsley, basil, and dill. Its 5 supersized roller blades turn slices of fresh tomatoes, onions, and cilantro into a delicious salsa for tortillas, tacos, and burritos. Roll it over cabbage for coleslaw, cabbage salad, or health salad. Chop ham for ham salad. Turn leftovers into corned beef hash in seconds. Chop nuts without them turning black or oily. Roll-O-Magic makes perfect carrot and celery sticks. It's a dieter's delight. Roll it over sliced potatoes for perfect French fries. Keep rolling and get hash browns. Slice and dice celery for all types of salads. Also, great for preparing vegetables for stir-fry. Chop onions and minced garlic. Coarse or fine, large or small quantities, equally well. Roll-O-Magic is easy to clean. Just unlock the blade unit, wash, and let dry. The blades are stainless steel and never need sharpening. It's only the weight and pressure of your hand that makes it work so well. Roll-O-Magic makes fresh, homemade pasta noodles faster and easier than most pasta machines. Order now, and Roll-O-Magic can be yours for only $19.95. For just $19.95, you get a mincer, slicer, dicer, chopper, shredder, and pasta maker. Plus, as a special bonus, you'll also get this special book of 40 favorite recipes and guide to fresh herbs and spices. Act now. Get both for only $19.95.
Have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-524-1122. That's 1-800-524-1122. Or send just $19.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to Roll-O-Magic, Box 666S, Verona, New Jersey, 07044. Sorry, no CODs. Credit card users call now, 1-800-524-1122.
We've heard Amy Fisher claim Joey Buttafuoco was her lover and that he encouraged her to try and kill his wife. He denies that, but Amy Fisher says Joey was not the only man in her life.
Ms. Fisher, you knew the gun was loaded and your finger was on the trigger at the time you struck Mrs. Buttafuoco in the head?
Yes.
And you tried to strike her in the head several times?
Yes.
And the gun went off and shot her in the head?
Correct.
Just 2 days after Amy Fisher admitted to shooting Mary Jo Buttafuoco, the teenage troublemaker became front-page news once again. This time it was for trying to take her own life. And like all the other times, Amy says her problems began with a man.
I'm like the plague. Nobody wants to be around me. I felt like I had no friends, and he was my friend.
He is Paul Makeley, the man with whom Amy cavorted and flirted and joked about her impending jail sentence. The man who made the videotape sold to hard copy. Another older man who had a child, a live-in girlfriend of 9 years. A guy who Amy says told her he loved her.
But once again, didn't you say there is a woman in his life, there is a child in his life? I knew I was going to jail, and none of those things made a difference.
Makes you sound kind of cold-blooded.
I'm not going to get into his family situation, but it's not a real relationship from what I've heard.
It sounds like any guy can say to you, my relationship stinks, and I love you, and you're beautiful, and he can get what he wants.
Paul didn't do that. Paul betrayed me, but he didn't manipulate my mind.
Amy claims that her new lover was paid to set her up, that he took advantage of her vulnerability to make a little money. He made the video the night before she pleaded guilty to assault charges.
He said, I don't want you to talk about your case. Come in, we'll have a good time, I'll take you out. He said, try to be happy. He said, I think his exact words were, I have a surprise for you. We're going to talk about 16 things that we're going to do together before you go to jail. And I wasn't in the mood for it. But he insisted, and I figured, why not?
If I have to go through all the pain and suffering, I'm getting a Ferrari.
Amy also asked Paul Makeley to marry her so she could have sex in jail.
Conjugal visit. I'm serious.
You realize that you look like a girl who didn't even care about what she had done.
I never even discussed what I had done on a tape. A lot of things I said on it were absolutely ridiculous.
But nobody put those words in your mouth. Nobody made you say, I want a Ferrari for my pain and suffering.
I was kidding. It was a joke. I'm going to jail. I mean, I can't bring a Ferrari up to jail with me. It was a joke.
But they wonder why you said such ridiculous things in light of the seriousness of what you have done.
This had nothing to do with the crime. I was talking with a boyfriend whom I thought I could trust, and I thought he really genuinely cared about me. But I obviously have very poor judgment when it comes to men.
That could be the understatement of the millennium, if what Amy says is true. Paul Makeley doesn't seem all that concerned about Amy's feelings, and when Inside Edition went to ask him why he videotaped her, he went berserk. He and his buddies attacked our camera crew.
Tell you what, Amy says you set her up. Amy says you set her up. She wants to know why.
Amy says after the tape aired, in her despair, she took an overdose of sedatives. She ended up in a mental ward for a month.
I didn't think of it as dying. I just wanted to go to sleep. And I wanted this to all go away, and I thought if I just swallowed a bunch of pills that I would just go to sleep and never have to deal with this again.
But some say Amy's real intention was to get sympathy in the wake of her brazen performance on the videotape.
The DA called the suicide attempt an alleged suicide.
An alleged suicide? I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like I had nobody.
After viewing the tape, the DA declined to press charges against Joe Buttafuoco.
I have seen the entire videotape, Judge. That conversation demonstrates an attitude on the part of this defendant that was so arrogant, perverted, and revolting that I would never put her on the witness stand under those circumstances.
The attempted suicide and the different tales she told the police about what happened at the Buttafuoco home also made the DA doubt that a jury would buy her story.
Police and other people have said that you've lied before. Why should we believe that this is the truth?
I just figured, since the actual act was an accident, that if I didn't get anybody else involved and I left my friends and the man I loved alone, that everything would be okay. My biggest fear was that my parents were going to find out. I didn't realize how serious it was.
Prosecutors also wanted Amy's bail revoked. It was not. But a few days later, she decided to return to jail early. A bizarre turnaround when you hear how hard she worked to retain her freedom.
I just want to be home with my family for Thanksgiving. My father is sick, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time with him. Okay? Thank you.
I find it somewhat disingenuous since she's already described her father as abusing her in the past.
Indeed she has. There have been allegations that she was molested by her father. Amy said, quote, "All my father can say, the pathetic person that he is that he's sorry too. And he keeps saying that he never meant to hurt me," unquote. A family friend denied the charges, saying Amy was talking about parental discipline. I asked Amy about her relationship with her parents.
She's not going to get into it. It's going to upset her, and I'm not going to let her talk about it. I'm sorry. I haven't interfered.
I understand your point here, but you understand that there have been many media reports where people have said that something terrible happened, where she was quoted as saying something terrible happened.
She's not going to discuss it. I'm telling her not to discuss it.
So she doesn't want people to know what that terrible thing was?
This is something that Amy feels is private. She's coming out of jail someday. She has to live a life, and she doesn't want to discuss it.
Amy was willing to talk about one childhood trauma. She says she was raped at 13 by a friend of her father.
My father was fond of him, yes. He also made a pass at my mother.
Did you tell anybody?
My friends. But other 13-year-olds comforting you, really, it doesn't help.
Amy says she has always felt unloved and has suffered from depression her whole life.
Why should anybody feel any sympathy for you, Amy?
I'm not asking for sympathy. I just want people to hear my story. Because they've heard everybody else's story. They may as well hear the truth.
And what's the truth?
Everything that I'm telling you. I had an affair with Joe Buttafuoco for 10 months. He wanted his wife dead. And he tried to get me to carry that out for him.
And we'll have a final word on Amy Fisher when we come back.
Geek, I put them on as a shocker. Man, I love these blue blockers. Everything is clear. They block out the sun. Oh yeah, I gotta get me some.
It's not like 3D, but it's got that effect where everything is so separated.
They're great. Best sunglasses ever owned.
I've been telling everyone I know about these. Honest to goodness.
It's different. I've never seen anything like these.
Thought it was a gimmick. When I see it on TV at night, it's not. It's real. They actually work.
Even with other regular sunglasses, you always had to squint. Somehow there was glare, but no squinting, so no nice little wrinkles.
My name is Geek. I'm more than a hip hopper, and I'll be cheap in my blue blockers, yeah.
The original blue blocker sunglasses block 100% of the ultraviolet and blue light. They're scratch resistant, have lightweight nylon frames, and come with a 5-year limited warranty. Carrying case included. Clip-ons available for prescription wearers. Only $24.95. Order now.
They're very clear. They're almost like prescription glasses. I see a lot better in them.
Look at that sun. Look at the sky. Look at the reflection up there. We really all have to watch out for the ultraviolet rays and the damage done to our eyes, and so it's really an investment in protecting your eyes.
So there you have it, folks, out there in TV land. Get you some glasses that's sweeping the land. Remember what I said, now I'm a hip hopper, yeah. Go get you some blue blockers.
The original blue blocker sunglasses block 100% of the ultraviolet and blue light. Only $24.95. Order now.
Melt away the winter blues with the Great Winter Escape, brought to you by KCTZ Channel 7 in conjunction with the travel station, Harrington's Pepsi, Continental Airlines, and Albertsons. You can win 2 round-trip tickets to your dream vacation location anywhere in the continental U.S. Or warm up your winter right here with ski vacations to Big Sky Resort or the perfect weekend getaway to exciting Chico Hot Springs. You can win a Great Winter Escape by registering at one of these locations. If you don't register, you can't win a Great Winter Escape.
A last word on Amy Fisher in a moment. First, a look at what's coming up next week on Inside Edition.
Monday, he was a top detective in one of New York's elite police units. Now CIA evidence is sending him to jail, and men he sent there may have to be freed.
I think we're going to have a problem in this area, if not the entire state, for years to come because of what Mr. Harding did.
Also next week, for 3 years, police searched for the brutal killer of 3 women.
Why would you hurt women? Because only cowards hurt women.
Now cops say they've got their man, a Jekyll and Hyde trapped by his handwriting.
This is the man. He's ripped my life clear apart to where it's nothing like it was before.
And when the police give chase,
I didn't think the death of Louis was worth a stolen truck.
Innocent lives are at risk.
I don't think they considered my daughter or anyone else who might have been in the path of that chase.
That's next week on Inside Edition. Mary Jo Buttafuoco, a loving wife and mother, entirely innocent, is disfigured for life. She is the victim and deserves sympathy and support. But it's difficult to avoid the conclusion that there's more than one victim in this story. Amy Fisher says she was raped as a child, worked as a hooker, attempted suicide, all by the time most girls her age are thinking about the senior prom. Now she gets to spend some of the best years of her life in jail. What a tragedy for her and her family. That's all from us. Join Bill O'Reilly Monday, and I'll be back next weekend. I'm Nancy Glass. Thanks for joining us.